Welcome to the Wednesday meditation service. Jack and I got into meditating on Wednesday at the ARE in New York, that's the Association for Research and Enlightenment, after we had read the book There Is a River and heard about Edgar Cayce. And we've tried to do a Wednesday meditation from then on, and that was probably in 1968 that we first walked into the center in New York City. And it changed our life. We met the most incredible human beings at that center. We walked in and it was like an elderly couple that were really the greeters and kind of ran the group. But as we came in, it seemed like all these young people started coming in. And it was just a happening at that time. And I feel right now we're in that process of opening up to a whole other way of looking at life again. And there's turmoil, and there was turmoil back then. And I think it makes people realize that this planet we're on is so beautiful. And what have we done with it? What have we done to the people that are on it? And it's time to start seeing everybody as our brother and sister. And all life as so beautiful. To protect it, the life forms. To let the land grow with the natural, wonderful herbs that help keep everything so in balance. Letting go of the pesticides and all the things so you can do mass growing. Let the farmers exist again. Let them have a livelihood. The love that they put in for generations in those farms that they inherited. It's time to make a change. And we can do it. So as we chant tonight, I'll sing a line and then you just repeat it and just think about what we're saying. What is it we would like to change in ourselves that we could live some of these statements that we'll be making? Open my eyes, open my eyes, open my eyes, to see only love, to see only love, to see only love. Open my heart, open my heart, open my heart, oh, to feel only love, to feel only love, to feel only love. Open my mind, open my mind, open my mind, to be only love, to be only love, to be only love. Open my eyes to see only love. Open my heart to feel only love. Open my mind to be only love. Illuminating love, illuminating love, from the ascended one, from the ascended one. Illuminating love, from the ascended one. All I have to do is remember. Every breath I take is your love. All I have to do is remember. Every breath I take is your love. All I have to do is remember. Every breath I take is your love. All I have to do is remember. Every breath I take is your love. Open my eyes to see only love. Open my eyes to see only love. Illuminating love, from the ascended one. All I have to do is remember. Every breath I take is your love. All I have to do is remember. Every breath I take is your love. All I have to do is remember. Every breath I take is your love. All I have to do is remember. Every breath I take is your love.
To those of you that have come out and decided to come to the building and share in the service, I welcome all of you watching this on live stream. It's wonderful to have you tuning in to something beyond the insanity of the world. And so that's what we're here doing. We're here raising our level of awareness. And we will be doing this now with people coming into the physical church. From here on out, right now, the restrictions are that we're only permitted to have 50 people or less at the service. That'll be taking place on Sunday as well at both services, the 9 a.m. and the 11 a.m. service. So we will be honoring those restrictions. And I think that our governor in this state is the most, he's the most cautious of the governors, and he's doing it the way he feels guided to do it. And so we will follow his guidance as far as that goes. Tonight I'm going to talk about a different kind of virus, a worse kind of virus. And then I'm going to bring in the diamond yoga. That is the radical yoga of those who are drawing near the top of the mountain. I'm not saying that this particular yoga is even possible for those people who are just beginning to look into the spiritual journey to true life, acknowledging that possibly we are not living true life in the thinking of the world which exists as it is now. But when we start to look for true life, what does it mean to rise every day without fear and to live every day in the joy of living? To be able to see beauty even where others cannot see it, and to live wholly, completely, joyfully, without any kind of consternation. That is the consciousness of heaven. But it's not something that just occurs without our willingness. It's not something that's just going to sweep us away. It's not something you can find with a guru in Tibet or a guru in New York or a guru in Boulder. You're not going to find it through, psychotropic drugs. You may have fleeting moments where you have, oh, gee, this is wonderful, but the wonderful will leave. Because what we are talking about is a systemic disease. And we need to be healed of it. I don't watch too many movies. I mean, I'll usually look for some actor I like who I think would choose a great script. Or if I hear about a film that has a great message or a director. But, looking at over this last sequestering to our homes and having no other outside activities except mine are here at the church, I have indulged in seeing, a number of films and television series. And it is mind-blowing. The amount of gore, sheer gore, involved in these films and TV series. I mean, it's unprecedented. At least I don't remember there being this much gore and evil and mayhem and blood-curdling stuff. I don't remember that being part of the entertainment film industry. But boy, it is almost everywhere in all of these different films and television series. It's unprecedented. And you have to wonder, it wouldn't be out there in such volume if people weren't just swallowing it up. And I believe that this is a confession or a revelation of the madness of the world. This is not my particular line. Eckhart Tolle is the one that said in the final phase of the transformation in consciousness, it will be that final phase prior to that will be a time when the ego will go absolutely crazy. It'll be crazy beyond anything we have seen. And I think it's showing itself in our super hip, high-tech Western culture here in America. I think it's showing itself. Eckhart Tolle also said another thing. He said that, pausing a second. Yes, the ego needs an enemy. The ego needs an enemy to prevail and to continue. And this is fairly evident in the idea that having an enemy of some kind creates a movement in the adrenal center, in the adrenaline of a person. So, and we're talking about, that's the third chakra, the solar plexus. And it's where we see people having this whole experience of adrenaline. Let me try to explain this in this way. We have all these protests taking place. And while the essential reason for them is authentic, and certainly something needs to be done to correct some of the violence that is apparent in the relationship we have with law enforcement. There needs to be some correction there. But take this with you. If you don't take anything out of here tonight, take this with you. The third chakra, adrenaline consciousness, is a false experience in which we, for periods of time, feel enlivened. When the adrenaline is running through us, we feel enlivened. Protesting. You see all these people out there protesting, and you think it's simply, from the ideal of wanting to make something better. True, that's part of it. But the greater part of it is the adrenaline and the excitement of challenging, going face to face against the authorities, and the authorities being just as crazy as well, trying to enforce harmony. They're trying to enforce peace, as though you can make peace with force. You can't. Force is more adrenaline. Force is getting over on that which is your enemy. In the limited consciousness of the third chakra awareness of the insane world. And could things be more ridiculous than they are now? First, everyone loses their job. This is kind of, if I smile a little bit when I say some of this, I don't mean to be disrespectful of the people that have lost jobs and are in need of trying to get by. But if you look at it on a whole level, people have lost their jobs by the millions. They're out of work. Many of them are benefited to a degree that they can get by with the unemployment that they set up and the extra money that the government set them and the extra money they gave to the unemployment for their unemployment. But they're all out of work. And boy, we sure came up with an issue to get their adrenaline flowing. So we have the streets filled with people who are getting paid, many of them, to be overly excited and adrenaline oriented, which is, now listen to this, which is being ego focused. The ego needs an enemy. The ego feels alive when its adrenaline is flowing. But that is a confession of the madness of the world that the masters are talking about. So we are seeing full-flown madness. Again, let me say to you, there is a need on the insane, unenlightened level for correction. But you can't force correction. Neither can you ever legislate decency, honor, integrity, forgiveness, caring, and brotherly filial feelings. You can't make laws that are going to make people be honorable. It has to happen from within. There has to be an awakening within. Here it is. Now, whether you get this or not, or you don't ever get it, at least you heard it. There is needed to save the human race a movement from the adrenaline third chakra to the heart chakra, which really brings about endorphins, feelings of consideration and compassion and love. And here it is, you may not want this, and peace first and above all. Do not taunt. Do not want excitement. Want peace. Do not want victory for the issue. Do not want winning. Want peace. Seek peace. Be peace. What I have said to you right now is the formula for salvation for every human being and the collective human experience. And beyond that, beside that, before that, everything else is going in the wrong direction. Have you noticed why these talking heads on all these news stations cling to making these issues of controversy? People tune into them because they get a mild adrenaline rush. There's something that needs to be fixed. There's something wrong. There's something missing. There's something bad. So the more media that one is exposed to, the more one continues to give power to the insanity of the thinking of the third center chakra of the world. We will not make it by legislation. No one's finally going to lay out the laws that are finally going to keep people in line with doing the right thing. It will only happen when the madness becomes so intolerable that we no longer will honor the adrenaline rush. We will withdraw. We will go within. We will become the emissaries of healing and light ourselves. How do we become emissaries of healing and light? And so I give you the diamond yoga, which is very close to the pinnacle of that mountaintop where the masters of life live and carry on the harmony and the beauty and the majesty and the joy of being alive. That's the mountaintop. That's the consciousness divine. That's the kingdom of heaven. Just before that, in order to make that climb, I'm not saying, listen, I don't know where anyone is. I don't even try to figure out where anybody is. I don't know where you are in the climb toward enlightened awareness. So this is going to be hard. That's why it's called the diamond yoga. It's hard, but it's also the most valuable. The diamond yoga is this. Suppose you found an amazing diamond that you could barely hold in one hand. And you saw that somehow or other it was carved out. There were figures carved out of this diamond. Your first thoughts might have been, from the unenlightened level of awareness, I could sell this diamond, I could make a fortune, I could live forever free financially. But the more you held on to it and looked at it, eventually you realized that there were 3 figures carved out of this diamond. And the one figure had its hands over its ears. The second figure had its hands over its mouth. The third figure had its hands over its eyes. And we awakened to this ancient truth. Hear no evil. Speak no evil. See no evil. And right off we say, well, you just got done talking about the madness of the world. Yes, but the emissaries of life no longer live in the thinking of the world. They have chosen what I said. They have made it the goal of every moment. They have chosen peace before vindication. Peace before being considered right. Peace before winning personally. Who can go there? Only those who are open to entering the top of the mountain of true life and want to live in the consciousness divine. That is what would be one's final calling. Do you realize there are people who are operating and bringing whatever harmony they can where they are, who do not hear evil? They will not hear it. If they hear it, if it comes to them, if somebody is speaking it, it comes into them and they release it. They do not participate in it. It's dissolved within their own consciousness. And by dissolving it within their own consciousness, they are adding to the dissolution of the adrenaline illusionary idea of let's talk about evil. They're letting that dissolve within themselves. They become alchemists of healing because they will no longer participate in hearing evil. And they certainly will no longer participate in speaking any type of evil, any type of gossip, any type of one-upmanship so that I can sound better than this guy or that guy, or that I can make my ego-centered idea of personality more important, more prestigious, more right than somebody else. And then, to not see evil. Don't look for it. Look beyond it. Don't seek it. Seek beyond it. Seek for the good. Seek to see the beautiful. Hear the beautiful. Relate the beautiful. Become the beautiful. And anything that is not in keeping with the beautiful wholeness of life, all of life. Bringing back into the consciousness of everyone who's in touch with your consciousness. Bringing back into the realization of the presence and the majesty of God. Let us never become so wise and so smart that we think we are smarter than this intelligence that calls us to surrender the ego-centered, illusion-driven, third chakra, adrenaline self. It says, that is not my creation. That is man's creation. My creation is to love one another beyond the limitations of personal victory and winning and all that goes with being ridiculous and lost and fear-driven. That is the diamond yoga. And I can tell you this. Many, many years ago, even when my children were very young, I sought the high places physically. We'd go camping a lot and quite often found our way down in the Four Corners area and certainly in some amazingly beautiful canyons. And there's a majesty in that solitude of nature, where there aren't a great many people and there aren't automobiles going this way and that way. It's just solitude. And I remember I would climb, I'd leave early in the morning, before the family ever got up. I'd be up going to catch the sunrise, Norma as well. Norma would get up to catch the sunrise. And she'd go out on her own different place because it was solitude we were seeking. And she'd go find her way through the canyon, wherever she went, and I would find my way. I'd climb, and then I'd sit sometimes on a ledge overlooking this peaceful, beautiful solitude. And the only thing moving would be possibly sometimes a bird. But once I was sitting on this rock, and I heard Norma playing a flute, way, way off somewhere, playing her flute. And I looked across the canyon, and sitting on the opposite edge of this very deep canyon was a Native American man. And he was sitting there as I was sitting there. And I saw him, and I think he saw me as well. It was quite a distance. And I sensed the native truth that everything is sacred and needs to be treated as sacred. And what is not sacred needs to be looked beyond, so that peace is never taken away from the emissaries who would heal the planet. If we surrender our peace for every passing limited moment for winning and gaining rightness and being special, if we're going to continue to do that, it just means to us we're not yet ready. We're not at that place yet to know what it means to be truly, joyfully, peacefully alive. We will do our meditation practice beginning with our Tibetan bowls. Just let yourself relax and rest and be open and listen and let the vibrations of these beautiful bowls calibrated to the chakras of the body to allow you to feel and know. You may leave here knowing something you didn't know. You may leave here more determined to follow a path toward the light. And these bowls will help us do that. After the bowls, we'll have a period of silence will not exceed 10 minutes. But if you don't have a particular meditation technique, you can take this particular idea and just keep allowing your mind to find your way into it. God is love. Love is life. I am God's life. I am. Breathing in the I, breathing out the am. I am. Stay with that mantra. God is love. Love is life. I am God's life. I am. I am. I am. Let us take a few moments to pray for those whose names have been submitted to our prayer list. As Norma calls the name, we just want to feel this freedom and harmony that comes from this awareness of the presence of God. So, when the name is called, just relate peace, peace, peace.
Sandy, Tim, Lori, Dan, Chris, Mid, Jeff Johnson, Olivia G., Teresa and family, June Eckhart, Scott, Taxi Hansen, Tink, Teresa Rodriguez and family, June, Melinda Niemczyk, Terry Ventreska and Josh Curtis, Jeremy and Jason Sear, Jamie, Brandy, Brittany, Danny, Dave, Randy, Stefan, Riley, Rick, Karen Shoemaker, Larry Gott, Aaron Baker, George Floyd and family, Morgan DeBauer, Brandy Gamblin, Jeannie Russell, Daniel Rivard, Jack Levino, Francoise Netter, Rachel, Jennifer, Piper, Patrick, and Benjamin, Guillermo, Rajiv Prasad, Wouter Verhagen, Greer Martin's baby boy, Gail Wagner, Steve Taylor, Del Bigtree and family, Dennis Drake, Vera Morrison, Jeffrey Edmonds, Robert and David Edmonds, Sarah Edmonds, the policeman who killed George Floyd, the air, water, earth, coronavirus leaving the earth. We see all the names in the prayer box. Healed and surrounded by light.
Because it can happen exponentially, quicker than we suppose. Let us see the coming to light, the divine consciousness in every person sharing this Boulder community with us. And this moving into the consciousness of everyone in the state of Colorado. It happening, moving through everyone sharing these United States of America and bringing about those changes in awareness that bestow healing, harmony, peace and grace. And this divine awareness moving in the consciousness of everyone on every continent of the earth, every person everywhere, waking up to the fact of their divinity and being guided by that in all that they do. And this divine awareness bringing about a healing in the relationships of human beings with all creatures and with everything in the environment, and understanding divine in origin, clearly understood by human beings, that the earth is sacred and everything in the earth is sacred. And man's open awareness to the sacredness brings healing, brings the restoration of the majesty of true life in harmony, in peace, in friendship, in love. Everything returning to the pristine majesty of God. As we pray, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And God is love. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. It'll be done a little bit differently. I think there's a basket in the back.
Yes, they are.
If you want to make a donation, just bring the offering into your awareness, what it is you'd like to donate. And all of you that are tuning in online, if you just bring into your awareness, in your own consciousness, what it is you'd like to donate. There's a donate button on your screen somewhere, but there are other ways to donate to Unity of Boulder. And you can find them by going to info@unityofboulder.com. So as we take our offerings in our hands, in our awareness, let's bless them with this offering statement. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. You can say that in your mind as I say it again out loud. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I receive, all that I give. Amen.
Oneness with all brings peace to the earth. Beams of light
Thank you all for tuning in. We had, Shad's got his Monday meditation service open for people to come in. All of our groups just about are open for people to come in. And again, our services on Sunday will be the same way. People will only be restricted to 50 people. But if you're deciding to come, probably come a little early to get a seat. And to everyone, thank you for joining us this evening.